I would ask Mojaxx what he thought, but I'll never forget January 6th, this text right here. Look at you remember this text, Mojaxx? Right? I'm like, oh my God, Mojaxx, did you see the Pioneer shit? Instant hard on, and you send me the zippy face. And then I'm like, come on, give me something to dream about. I'm like a locked vault over here. I won't tell nobody. And you said, yeah, good luck with that. And that was it.
GLWI, motherfucker. I got beef with you, Spinelli.
Why is that?
I got beef. I was going to manufacture some beef. I was going to try and replicate the beautiful awkwardness of last week's interview that you did. Right? I was going to try and like just make up something. So I had to like some beef with you. I've got actual beef with you now because it's 5 p.m. here in the UK. Right, my wife has a real job. She's not back for a minute. Right.
Okay.
So I had to take my daughter to her like after school club thing. And I took my 6-year-old son in the car. We dropped her off at 5 p.m. UK, 12 p.m. Eastern. And I said to my son, right, take the phone, put it into the stereo. Let's play the beginning of the Nick Spinelli show. And there's my 6-year-old son. You're effing and jeffing from the minute we start the show.
But you know that.
All day.
No, why would you?
Oh, man.
I feel bad. I'm
like,
sorry.
Don't listen to him. He's a bad man. Don't listen to the bad man. My days, honestly. Now it's cool. Like, thing is, I kind of knew. I didn't think you were so strong with the F-bombs, man. Like, it's maybe weird because thing is, right? I don't swear at all on any of my content. I don't swear on Twitch. I don't swear in YouTube and everything. In real life, I swear like a docker, like full on, every other word. But like in my, obviously not around the kids. But like on any of my shows, I don't do it, and I don't know, man. I don't know if you should. I don't think so. I don't know if it's helping you.
You know, I've been contemplating that my whole little like content creating career. You know, when I first started doing stuff, I was like super clean, and then like I'm like, maybe I'll slip something in there, and then like I'm like, you know what? You know, fuck it. First of all, last week, you know, I was on a whole nother, you know,
last week you were tripping balls. So let's not even talk about like last week was just, that was a weird show, man.
I'm back to regular funny now. Yeah, that was funny. Yeah. I'm still doing it. You sure you want to do the show, Nick? You really shouldn't. Like my girl's trying to talk me out of it. No, I got it. I just, but yeah, you know, I analyze analytics and stuff like that. And, you know, some of my content, like last week was an example where YouTube will flag it and be like, listen, you know, we can't sell this to advertisers because you, it's usually because I said too many curse words, but it's probably 10% of the time. It doesn't happen too often. I mean, I don't know. I'm so in between. Sometimes I even made a bleep where I can be like, like, did it bleep it? I hope it worked. Did it work?
It did work. It did. I heard that. Yeah, it worked. Yeah.
So, you know, and I thought about doing the bleep for a while because YouTube was really messing with me, and then I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what to do.
My take is this, and you know, it's very inside baseball this to start off the interview, but like my take is that you're not going to lose anybody by not swearing, but there are some people who will take offense to it, or maybe they have their kids around, or you know, so I always feel like it reduces your audience by some percentage or other, so why bother? That's a good point. Like, you can get across what you want to say without cussing. You know, it's actually funnier to do the beep. The beep says the articulate than the actual curse word.
Yeah, it says the articulate English guy. I have trouble, you know.
But as I say, in real life, I'm all about it, like 100%. But
so you're bilingual.
When I'm doing, exactly. You have your work voice. And you don't cuss when you're in front of your wedding clients, booking them in like, yo, if this.
I don't say the F word unless, but that's the thing. I really do. I don't say the F word to wedding clients unless they say it first, and then like, all right, then it's free game. But I do say shit and ass and little baby, and I feel like I think the F word is something I should cut out. I think you're right. I don't know about like shit or ass because like you could say bitch and all that on regular TV now, right? Like
that's
it's kind of changed.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But the F-bomb is still it's called the F-bomb for a reason still. Yeah.
A good thing the FCC doesn't regulate YouTube, right?
Yeah. Is my connection okay? I feel like it's not great, but I'm stuck in my house, I'm afraid.
You're actually the best connected, best sounding guest I've had yet.
Good. I made it blue, look, just for you. I've made it blue.
like, if you guys don't know, look, with guests, I have a terrible process. I literally send them a link and then they come on. There's no testing. There's no, it literally, every single guest I've ever had on the show, I mean, right, Mojaxx, you just come on and that's it. And we'll see what happens. And like, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. This is the best sounding one ever. So appreciate you.
Good. Well, the
sounds
sound
good.
is what counts, right? Don't mind how I look, as long as it sounds okay. That's the main thing.
No, it sounds great.
Cool.
You're a ghost online, man. I Googled you for hours, and I can't find. It took me an hour to figure out what your real name was. It's Chris. Wow. Couldn't figure that shit out. I can't find one interview. I don't know if you've done interviews in the past other than you've interviewed other people. I can't find one.
I did the Crossfader podcast. Phil Morse from Digital DJ Tips did a podcast with him.
What are they doing with their SEO? I haven't found anything. I'm like, where? I couldn't find much. Like, the only thing I just know, what I know of you. Like, I remember I discovered you with DJ City Tips and Tricks, right? I never forget, because like I went full time January of 2015, and that's like right when you started Tips and Tricks, and I was like, I like this guy, and then I started following you ever since then. And then from doing some digging, I realized you were writing blogs for a little bit for DJ Tech Tools, right? And then like it seemed like you're
kinda
no.
Yeah, I started off 2013 on my own channel, Mojaxx TV. It was called then, and I managed to, because I used to work in for a DJ equipment retailer in the UK, which no longer exists. It was called dex.co.uk. I used to work for them in the early 2000s, and I still had friends there. So I got to the point where I was DJing full time. It was like a club and bar DJ, just local, but working like 5 nights a week, on average 5 nights a week, sometimes more. And it was a good living. I was having a good time. It was fun, just open format, just having a good time. It was a nice, fairly steady work, it was good. But I was at that point like 30, and we just had my daughter, my first child. So I decided I needed to do something else. And I'd studied media production at university. So I thought, I'll give this whole like digital DJ tips. He was like the guy at that time. And Kareem at djbooth.net as well. Respect to Kareem. He's just quit the game recently. DJ Booth.
I never heard of him. Kareem.
Oh man, you're missing out. He was one of the OGs on the DJ YouTube game. djbooth.net. So yeah, I decided I'd give that a go, and I hit up some of my friends at this store. I was like, yo, can you send me that new Tractor Z1 mixer controller thing? I'll just do like a demo, a walkthrough of it. So they lent me that, and I borrowed that off them, and then did the little walkthrough. And then almost immediately, Algorithm hit me up, which is DJ, on the iPad. They said, do you want to review DJ on the iPad? Or like do a walkthrough. So I was like, yeah, okay, let's do that. And I had connections with Serato already from back in the Serato forum days. So then I got like kind of early access to a new version of Serato DJ Pro that was dropping, and did a walkthrough of that. And then it just kind of, and you mentioning DJ Works earlier, DJ Works were over there. They were the first people to actually put me on. Like, they put me on their website, on their blog with I think it was with the DJ video, the Algorithm video. So he put me on his blog, and that was cool. That was my first bit of, because every channel needs a bit of a bump somehow when you're first starting out, just to get those initial kind of numbers. And that got me that a little bump. And then I was off then doing my own thing. I did various reviews over the course of, I don't know, about a year or so. And then DJ Tech Tools was next. And then I think I contacted them maybe at the time. And I did some videos for them, some of which are still my most watched videos of all time. Like the one I did about Serato Sync is still the most watched video I've ever done. It's getting up towards like 1 million views or something now, I think. It's crazy. So all love to DJ Tech Tools, but that was like a freelance thing. I did that for about another year probably. And about another year. And then DJ City came a calling, because they wanted to expand their reach in that kind of content. They'd not really done it before.
And this was the first, right?
Yeah, so big up Styles, who from DJ City. He came over because the weird thing was, I live in Newcastle in the UK. I live in the northeast, right? Okay. I'm not originally from there. My accent would be very different if I did come from here, but like that's where I live now. And DJ City UK was created by this guy called DJ Play, who is Newcastle born and raised. So the UK office, as it is, like there's not much of a UK office, but like what it is, was here in Newcastle. So it was like serendipity. It was like, everything coming together. I'm in Newcastle, DJ City UK's in Newcastle. They want me to make videos for them. They have a space. Because at first I was like, I'm liking the DJ Tech Tools thing. I don't really know. Like, do I want to go to another company? And they're like, come and look at the office. And I walked in the office. I was like, yep, I'm working for you. Because up until then I'd been in my garage, like moving everything out the garage to film and then moving it all back in again. And like after I'd finished, it was a nightmare. So having a dedicated space to work was like the dream. And now here we are, like 300 videos later.
332 videos you made.
Yeah, and now
that's
it's
insane.
Tech, and here we are. So yeah, it's all still going.
Yeah, and a lot of work. I respect it, man, because like 332 videos, if you guys don't know, that is a hell of a lot of work, and you evolved over it. It used to be you'd have an intro, and then you just go on and talk, and and then all of a sudden you started with crazy B-roll, and like you just really like evolved like your whole like how you film and the structure of everything. And I watched the whole process this whole time, so it's super super cool. What
can you imagine though, like doing exactly the same kind of video for 300 videos? You'd bore yourself. So like you can't help. It's like with DJing, experience is what makes you a good DJ. Ultimately, fundamentally, they talk about, it's the Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 hour rule. Mm-hmm. I did my 10,000 hours of DJing a long time ago, but like 10,000 hours now of video producing, I'm probably there. Do you know what I mean? I'm on a level. I'm not the greatest video producer in the world, but I'm on a level now. And like, you have to keep evolving with anything that you practice in your life, in terms of creative stuff, technical stuff. You have to evolve. So yeah, I'm pleased with how I've evolved. Those first videos, that one you just put up there was, that's kind of basic at the time, but like, we learn.
It was still good though. It was, even that was great when it came out. I was like, this is great. Like I followed right away.
By that point, I'd been making videos for 2 years by then already. So I had an idea, and I've always been fairly natural on camera. I don't have a problem being on camera. I'm not shy. As you can tell, I'm not shy in that. I'm quite shy in like personal situations. Like, if I'm meeting new people and stuff, I'm actually kind of shy in that regard. But like, put me in front of a camera or put me on a stage in front of 1,000 people, I'm good with that. I've got that other shyness. It's a bit of a weird one, but like, I think a lot of DJs are the same. We may be a little bit introverted, in social
unless you're hiding behind the decks.
Yeah, unless you've got those decks there as like a barrier to protect you from the people. So I think that's part of what it is. But that all came fairly easily. But in terms of the technical stuff, I'm learning every day. Every day I learn new things and how to do things better.
100%. What's your process with making videos? Like, do you do everything? Do you do all the editing, shooting, like, or does DJ City assist with anything? Because I know they have like people that edit and do stuff within DJ City.
Yeah, I do it all.
You do everything, and you just give them a finished product, or you probably have access. You just upload it yourself.
Upload to YouTube, and I upload the trailer, like the 15-second kind of trailer thing, and for the social media. So yeah, it's top to bottom. I do everything solo. There's no one else. Like, we used to have this office where there was 2 other guys kind of worked in it, but now one of them's moved to Dubai, and the other one just works in his house. So like, the office that we have now is just the lab. It's the DJ City UK lab. I'm the only person who works there. That's it. It's me. It's my space where I go and just do my thing and then edit at home.
Really?
Here. Yeah.
You're the only. So that space is just for you. That's just insane. Yeah. What program do you use to edit?
I couldn't do the show. I'm an Adobe guy. I use Adobe Premiere and a little bit of After Effects, but not much. But the main reason I went Adobe and remain Adobe is Audition, because I grew up on Cool Edit Pro back in the day, which was later acquired and became Adobe Audition. So like, 20 years ago, I was rocking out on Cool Edit Pro, which was actually the precursor to Audition. So I feel so comfortable in Audition. There's two applications that I feel I've been using so long and I'm so comfortable in. One is Adobe Audition and the other one is Ableton Live. Like, between those 2 apps, I can get everything done in an audio sense that I ever need to get done. So that's how I work. That's
really cool. So what's your like career, like I couldn't find like how many gigs do you do a year? Like what kind of gigs do you do? You know, what's your like, are you more on like the content creation side than like the gigging? And then I know you started like streaming, you know, too, like with the pandemic and everything. And your, I checked out your house stream the other day.
Well, yes. We'll move the streaming. We'll move the streaming thing for a minute, right? Basically, I started off as a mobile DJ. So that's why I have a lot of time for guys like you. Because I started off when I was 13. My dad was principal of like a junior high equivalent here in the UK, right? So he was principal of that. And I'd left that school. I was 13. I was in the high school by then. But I went back and did the school discos for his school. Like the kind of, whatever you call, the dances, whatever you want to call, whatever you call them over there, right? I did those for his school. So that was my first taste of DJing, was actually I didn't get decks and practice at home. I DJ'd to a crowd. That was my first taste of DJing. So, and then very quickly it started to get to the point where I did it with a buddy, and we did lots of other schools in the area. So we'd get to the end of each like semester and we'd have like 8 schools to go and DJ parties for, because like we were really good. We were so young. And we were kind of fearless with it, so we would get involved with all the dances and all, like you. I know you have the thing with the line dances over there. Like we don't really have that, but when you're DJing to a bunch of 8-year-olds, you kind of need that coordinated dances and stuff like the Macarena and stuff is huge for that age group, because they need that instruction almost to kind of do anything on a dance floor. They don't know how to. They don't dance, they just need the activities, if you like. So me and my buddy were really good at that. And then from there it gets to, adult birthday parties, and then it gets to weddings and all of that. So I was from like the age of 13 to like 18, I was a mobile DJ. That was my, so I was still at school, but like every weekend I'd be out doing mobile DJ gigs and living that mobile DJ life. Never glamorous, never highly paid. Like that, I think that was part of the appeal, was we were pretty cheap as well compared to a lot of DJs. But like we did a great job. We were good at what we did. And and then once I got sort of around 18 and I could legally go to bars and clubs, that's when I started to do bars and clubs. But I was always, and this is why you've never heard of me as a DJ, I was a resident DJ. I was a local resident DJ. Wherever I lived, I played locally. Like I've done some cool gigs throughout my career, some dope stuff, but like fundamentally I was a resident DJ, open to close. That was me. I would open the place, I would close the night. That was me.
What are the hours of a UK bar? Like what would be open and
close? It changed like in the kind of early 2000s. It changed a bit, but like it used to be 11 o'clock the pubs would close or the bars would close, and then the clubs would go on till like 2 a.m. Then it got to like 3 a.m. for the clubs. And then by sort of 2008, every bar was open till 2 and every club was open till like 4 or 5.
So like Vegas kind of.
It's kind of late. Like, I went to LA a while back and like everything closes at 2. I'm like, what is this? We're just getting started, man.
Losers.
Oh my God. But yeah, so like that's the kind of thing. But I did like chain places, like there's a chain called Vodka Revolution here in the UK. I did like, at one point I did two local kind of ones of those each week. I'd do each one like twice. And that was kind of the impetus for me to start doing something else. Was I got to this point, I've got a great life here. I'm DJing and I could spend time with my baby daughter during the day because I'm just DJing at night. Like this is the dream, right? Mm-hmm. But it was at the point where I was like, if I fall out with the general manager of one of these venues where I'm DJing like 2 or 3 nights, that's half my income gone straight away. And it was like, I can't be doing this into my 40s as I'm heading towards 40 now from 30. I can't be doing that. I need a more reliable living. And I need to do something else. So that's where the video started to come in, because I love that resident DJ life. I've got nothing but respect for mobile DJs, resident DJs, anyone who's out there earning money as a DJ. However you do it, the utmost respect. But it's not something, unless you reach a certain level, that you can do into your 40s and 50s and still have a reliable life and income for your family and stuff as you get older. Like you've either got to be very good at business to do that, or you need to be owning things and running companies, not just like being a DJ. on its own. You need something else, I feel. And
diversify.
Yeah, diversify, absolutely. And I suck at business. That's my other thing. I really suck at any business stuff at all. I've got no concept of it. My organization is terrible. I'm not good at any of that. So it was like, I can't be a club promoter. I don't have the skills for that. I'm quite a shy person, this introvert person. I can't be out there hustling. And like, so yeah, it just seemed like the content was the way forward for me. And it, luckily it has been. And now it's that's my job. DJing is what I do on the side. So like DJing is now my side hustle. I just do it because firstly, I need to keep my hand in and understand what's going on in the DJ. And when I review stuff, I like to take it out and test it in real life situations. And because if I didn't DJ at all, I would lose my goddamn mind, is the other thing. Like I live for DJing. It's the thing that makes me happiest in the whole world. It's my greatest passion above anything else. It's all I ever wanted to do from the age of 13 onwards. I've been doing it 30 years now this year, and I will never stop DJing while I still have ears that work. Never.
Do you think when we get older, it's going to look a little different? Like right now, it's very rare to see like an 80-year-old DJ. But I think that's because DJing's so new, and 80-year-old people, when they were in their 20s and 30s, or DJing, it was just a radio thing. But being that like it's such a big part of life now, you think like 40 years from now, there's going to be a lot of like 80-year-old DJs still kind of throwing down because they were the shit back in the day, because like the culture's been around that long. Like you think that's all going to look different? Because I think so.
Yeah, I do. I totally do. Because even now you've got like people like Pete Tong, from Radio 1 in the UK. You've got like Jazzy Jeff. I mean, I don't know how old Jeff is now, but he must be getting on in years.
50-something, right?
Like, yeah, I mean, there's guys who are 60 or approaching 60 or beyond 60 still DJing now. As long as you can still stay relevant, then what does it matter? What does age matter in this game? You have singers and guitar players who are ancient. They still pack out stadiums. The Rolling Stones. Do you know what I mean? How old are they? Do you know what I mean? Like 105.
Yeah.
Like,
Keith Richards will never die. It'll be Keith Richards and cockroaches. That's all it's going to be left.
So like, I don't see how that's any different, man. I think it's the same thing. It's music, it's entertainment, and you get very old entertainers in every field. And I don't see why that would be a problem. It's, what I did realize as I've got older is that I don't want to be out there anymore doing the whole like the Drake thing, the bottle service thing, because that doesn't make me happy very much. It never really did, to be honest. Like I was always a party DJ. Like I like to have a party. Like for me, the best time as a DJ was like around 2011 when LMFAO were the biggest thing in the planet.
Yeah,
like no lie. Like you can listen to that music now, and right, it's kind of shit, right? But it was magical. That was a magical time to be a DJ because every room was just 130 BPM, energy, but not hard, not like that EDM noise. It was just party time, high tempo. And I've said that before on other interviews. That was my favorite time to be a DJ because however cheesy that music got, every room was a party in that year. And then a couple of years later, along comes bottle service. Everything's playing at like 65 BPM. And the gold chain. Oh, God, it's not for me, man. It's not for me. So what I realized as I got older is I want to play music that makes me happy now. I've never been a self-pleasing DJ. Never. I've always been a crowd pleaser. I don't care what I play as long as it gets a good reaction. But like I'm getting to the point where I'd rather pick my crowds a little better. I want to play stuff that I kind of dig too. I want to play old school funk, soul, disco.
And with Twitch,
that's
perfect for that.
Twitch is a whole different kettle of fish. That's where Twitch is like opened it up entirely because I could play whatever I want. I'm not even thinking about what is going on in the room. I'm not even looking at, because as a DJ, you look at the room, you read the room, and you're always doing that, right? And at my actual real life gigs, I still do read the room. I still play to the people. I play what I think that room wants to hear, and I'm not precious in any way. But on Twitch, I play whatever I want. If I'm in the mood for banging, hard house one day, I'll play that. If I want to play, drum and bass, nosebleed anthems, I'll play that, whatever I want. And like that to me is, I've never experienced that in my life. Like just
same.
Mad.
Same. Twitch gave me that for the first time too. It's like the greatest thing. I don't know why every DJ's not on Twitch. You just sing the songs you want to sing. You just do what you want. It's like the greatest thing. I had so much fun in your stream. So just so you know, when I forget, maybe it was Wednesday. I was in your stream, something like that. But
was it the Progressive House one? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's Wednesday. Yeah.
All right. So I was there the whole time. Okay. So I tuned in, and I'm not like I'm not familiar with a lot of like that kind of house, that kind of like I'm familiar with, but like I'm not familiar with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I had you on in the background, and I'm vibing, and I'm still like whatever. It's 2 days since my surgery, and you were
Still
literally
tripping.
still tripping, like so much pain, right? And I had to take a shower. All right, I had to figure this shit out, and this is not easy when you have a broken leg, right? You got to put the bag on the leg, getting undressed, doing everything, crutches, right?
Yeah.
I had you on the background the whole. You were my soundtrack to me trying to take a shower. It was just literally, and I'm just like, come on, motherfucker, get this. And I'm trying to get the plastic thing on, and it helped me through my whole shower though. And it was just so cool because it was. You were like just like into it, and it was just like I really did enjoy your stream, and it's such a 180 from where I'm from, because like I grew up in Jersey and I came up around here, and like we're right next to New York and all that. And it's literally a 180. New York is all hip hop, super quick mixing, dropping it on the one, no beat mixing, no like, riding anything. It's just like, and have a little, you like that? We'll have a little bit of this, and then I'm gonna bring this back 5 times, and then I'm gonna give you this much of it, and then you get a little bit of this, and then you know what I mean? Like, so it's like a whole 180 of like a style, and I don't know. So is UK really big? Is it like UK grime? Like that's like the hip hop scene, and then it's like progressive house. Like how does it work out there? I've never been across the pond.
No, like progressive house is a niche it's a kind of a niche sound. And it was just when I went on Twitch, I was like, I'm so free to play anything that I want. I'm going to do that because that was the stuff I grew up going out clubbing to when I was like 20. That was my music, 20 years ago. That it was a big peak at that time. It was huge then. And like the trance stuff was kind of similar, but not quite. It was like, so it was a big time for.
Were there raves?
Kind of high energy. Yeah, it was like, I used to go to a club called Bedrock, which is run by John Digweed. Like Sasha is my favorite DJ of all time. But that crossed over. I mean, it's funny you saying that about New York. That crossed over with like Danny Tenaglia in New York. Like, I grew up worshipping Danny Tenaglia and Junior Vasquez and, all of these New York and David Morales, all of these new Frankie Knuckles. That I grew up worshipping those guys in the house scene. So like, that house scene was just as strong there. Obviously it came from Chicago, but then New York was totally a home of house music for the longest time. And so, that was. But then, the progressive is kind of niche. Over here, we have grime and kind of drill sounds. But ultimately, most of the time, every country's listening to the same mainstream. Every country likes Drake, right? Pretty much. That's the sound of now. That is the sound of today. And there are different variations. And maybe we're a bit stronger here in the UK on the Afrobeat right now. Like that's kind of massive sound here in the UK. Is Afrobeat, not something that I play because I just don't know. I don't play that kind of venue anymore. I'm playing for old people mostly. I play for people like my age. That's my jam right now. But like, if I was going to go and cover a friend at a mainstream night here, I would pull out loads of Afrobeat. I'd get the Afrobeats playlist off Beatsource. I would get the Drake, the Cardi B's and all that. That's all. I
like that plug.
That's just international, global club music. That's how it is today. So our sound is not that different. We have other niches. We have drum and bass is massive here. I think for a long time, like proper house music was a more mainstream thing in the UK than it was in the US. Like stuff like Bucketheads, Nightcrawlers, those were like top 10 chart records in the pop chart over here.
Gotcha.
Whereas they were kind of underground club records over there, but like over here that stuff was properly mainstream, like full on top of the pops vibes for a lot, certainly through the 90s, like dance music, and it remains that today really. We have a lot of love for house music and dance music in general in the UK, but ultimately the mainstream sounds are the mainstream sounds everywhere. It's the same.
Where do you think music's going? We're kind of like I've talked about it on the show before, and I'm interested to hear your take. I mean, I think we're in a weird spot.
That's where it's going.
You think Afrobeats is the wave?
Well, because with the rise of the internet and the fact that we're all globally connected now, people are starting to realize the incredible music that's been being made in Africa, all the different countries in Africa for such a long time. Like there's this Amapiano stuff now, whatever it's called. I don't even know. I'm so old and out of touch. But like that's like the big sound right now. And that doesn't even, that's from a different place than all the Afro beats. They all come from different countries and different regions, and everywhere's got their own sound. And now, so I reckon the big sound for the next 10 years is going to be a different variation of music from a different country in Africa. Like every 2 years, a different one's going to pop off, because all of these incredible sounds are waiting to be discovered by this global market. And I genuinely think that's for the next, certainly for the next few years, that's where the growth is going to be. But I think, you know, the advent of streaming has changed everything so much. Like charts don't, you know, I'm talking about the pop charts like they matter. They don't matter anymore. No one cares no one even knows what's number one in the Billboard Top 100 today. You don't even know.
Some Disney song.
You don't. No, it is actually, I did know.
It's the we don't talk to Bruno. That's stupid.
Yeah. No, to be fair, I did know that, but that's the first time I could have told you that. In about 6 months, probably, because I don't pay attention to that anymore. I'm out of touch. I'm not going to pretend. Like I went on the Mickey D's podcast that the DJ City guys do. I went on that. And they were asking me about all the grime scene and stuff. I'm like trying to pretend like I know. I don't know any of that. I don't know what's popping in the grime scene. I'm not a clue. Like I'm just an old man who likes to play 45s and like old disco edits, man. Like that's what I am. So don't ask me about the grime. But if you're asking me the future of music right now, it is Africa. That's where it's all going to be coming from for a long time to come, I think.
I think you're right. That really makes a lot of sense in different regions, different countries, because I feel like that whole culture and the way they, you know, the Afrobeat thing has been around forever and ever. But like you said, the internet's kind of making it more prominent. I mean, I remember. Am I wrong? Do you know about? I Google random things like all the time. I have like this weird habit. I have like so many random things I know about. So I like my files are all messed up in my head. But I'm pretty sure Ginger Baker, who was the drummer, one of the greatest drummers of all time, was the drummer for Cream way back in the day, which Cream was with like Eric Clapton and them. You know, he was a lunatic apparently, and he got in a fight with them. They broke up in 2 years. They were only together for like 2 years in the 60s, late 60s, and he dipped to Africa and studied Afro beats back then. And like he was like, and he used a lot of, he had a lot of Afrobeat influence way back then, and the way he was playing drums, him and like Keith Moon, like everyone was like, holy shit, like these dudes aren't like keeping a beat, they're like soloing and doing crazy stuff. And I think a lot of their innovation came from like an African influence too, which is kind of interesting, right?
Man.
Am I wrong?
That's the thing, it's all that culture, the musical culture has always been there. It's just now we are discovering it, you know, that the rest of the world is starting to discover. And like things like K-pop as well. Like I know nothing about K-pop at all, but it delights me, man. Like I love the fact that K-pop exists and there's this giant, completely different industry of music that I have no idea about. That is what I'm 43 years old. I should feel like that. There should be stuff that I don't understand. And I was worried for a minute there, like, oh my God, am I just going to know about the current stuff in pop music forever? Am I never going to get old here? And I have now got old, and I'm doing it gracefully. I'm like, yeah, I don't understand drill. I don't understand K-pop. I don't understand Afrobeat. That's cool, because I've found my lane in life where I want to be musically, and I don't need to go out and do those gigs every Friday and Saturday night where I have to have the latest club bangers all the time, which is, so that's where I'm at. And like you're saying about DJs getting old, I'm from now to the age of like 60 or 70 or until my ears give up, I'm happy with where I'm at musically and what I'm doing. Like, I'm there. I'm good.
When did you hit that though? Like, was there an age where you were like, all right, you know what, where you had this self-awareness, you know, where you stopped?
It was around 40, I think, to be honest. It was when I turned 40. So
that's the key.
Like, yeah, I think so. But it was also, it was a change in like the situation as well. Like when I started to do less gigs, you know, it was less of a thing as part of my income, and I could be a bit more picky about the kind of gigs that I wanted to do. And also there's the physical thing. Like I'm not about finishing a gig at 5 a.m. and then driving home for 2 hours now. Those days are done. I want to be home in bed by midnight if I can possibly sort that out. Like I'm all about the daytime spots now, like the early evening gigs. That's my jam right now. Like, I don't want to be out of the house after midnight if I can help it. Hell no.
So 40's the age. That's what I got to look forward to. You hit 40 and it's like,
I can't say for everybody, but it was for me. That was the age for me. 100%.
So you got 30 years in the game. 43 started when you're 13. What's the craziest shit that's ever happened to you? Like at a gig? Like what, you got a crazy story for me? Like what's the first thing that popped in your mind just now?
Okay, well, there's one that I've told on another podcast. I told it on the Crossfader podcast, but it's kind of mad. Like, I lived in London for about 5 years, early 2000s. That's when I was going out clubbing the most. Me and a friend of mine got booked to DJ at this pub. It was like an afters kind of thing. So it was like started at like 11 a.m. So like people would have been partying all night, gone on to maybe one place after that, and then they'll end up at this pub 11 a.m. on a Sunday, still going from the night before. You know, it's that kind of spot. So we turned up there with our records because it was the vinyl day. We had the 12 inches and we turned up and like we're starting to get set up, and then there's the mixer there. It's like a Vestax mixer, a pair of techs. We're like, yeah, this is all good. And then the guy comes over. He's like, hold up. Yeah, I'm the technician. I just need to take the mixer out and swap it out for a different one. We're all good, all good. Took the mixer, never came back. Dude just stole the mixer.
Just gone.
Out the door, gone.
And then you're sitting there with, where's the guy come? He didn't come back. And you don't have a mixer on you.
Like, no other mixer. So we just couldn't do the gig. Dude just stole the mixer. Straight up robbed it.
The balls.
Like 11 o'clock in the morning. Stole it.
Just a regular looking dude. He didn't look like
he looked like just looked like he worked there maybe at the pub, and like, you know, they say it's the bravado thing, right? It's the confidence. If you got the confidence, you can get away with anything. He just rocked up. He's like, yeah, hey guys, oh, good to see you. Yeah, I'm the technician, the sound engineer guy. This mix has been playing up. We need to take it and swap it for a different one. I'll just take this one and be back in a second. And then just never came back. Stole the thing.
That's great. That's a good scheme too, because it's not like, you know, you, especially unless you work at a place all the time, you could dupe any DJ. I'm not going to like ask you for identification or something. Prove that you work here before you touch this.
Exactly.
It's like, no, man, it's your house.
People,
Take
right?
it.
You trust people.
Well, and plus it's probably like they work there. You're just the DJ.
Yeah.
So like, it's almost like, I don't want to, it's your house, man. Yeah, take whatever you need, you know? Like that. Oh my God.
And
That's
then the
crazy.
other one, which I don't think I've told before, is I used to play like around the late 2000s, you know, 2008, 2009. It was when like the indie alternative sound was massive, right? So the Killers, the Strokes, the White Stripes, like that was a big sound then, right? Huge, the biggest sound. And I went to DJ at this indie club. So that was basically what I played. And I learned a lot doing that gig, man. I did that for probably about 2 years, every Saturday night. Maybe even longer than that. It might have been 3 years, and I did it. And it was a learning experience, but a really valuable one at the same time. And I managed to bring in some of my influences. You know, I managed to bring in some drum and bass into that, and dubstep was kind of bubbling then as well. So we had like the noisy bro step kind of dubstep. That was really good. It was a very, very good residency. But sometimes you'd get these kind of legacy rock people who are like a little bit older, and they're like don't really understand why I'm playing drum and bass or what, you know, whatever I'm doing with this indie and this rock music. And that one night there was a woman who was just harassing me all night to play Guns N' Roses, like just all night. And I can't remember what song it was, but I remember it was definitely Guns N' Roses. And she was harassing me. She's like, will you play drum and bass? Will you play Guns N' Roses? Play Guns N' Roses. Every 10 minutes she's back up to the booth on a stage as well. It wasn't even like down in the middle of it. It was on a stage. She'd come up on the stage, play Guns N' Roses for me. And I'm like, it's not.
Did
really
she have the big 80s hair?
Now. No, like she was. This is
stuck
the thing,
in the
like,
80s.
She was quite a small little woman. Like looked kind of rocky. You know, she had like.
They're the dangerous ones.
On.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, and
They're
like
the crazy
she rocked up, and again and again and again, and it got towards the end of the night, and then she flipped out basically and punched me, and she went to punch me in my face because I wasn't playing her record for her. But she was so short, she punched me in the neck, like punched me in the throat because she was so short.
You had
You
had some random woman punch you in the throat.
Punch me in
the throat for not playing Guns N' Roses.
Because I wouldn't play Guns N' Roses. Yeah. So yeah, after that, I had the security just like throw her down the stairs, like out the club. So I came off best, but like, you know, because you know you can't. What do you do in that situation? Like I'm not an aggressive person. I haven't thrown a punch as an adult in my entire adult life. I've never thrown a punch, and like so and you know you don't start assaulting the customers even if they hit you first. So I was just like, security, get this tiny woman and throw her out. And they literally threw her out, like properly threw her out.
She's probably somewhere right now beating her husband.
Like Jazzy Jeff on the Fresh Prince, like out of like that. It was like that. Two big bouncers just throwing her out of the door. So yeah, that's probably, you know, that's my two safe for work clubbing experiences that I'm prepared to talk about on a public in a public forum. But yeah, that was pretty crazy. You know, when you play that long, like wild stuff does happen. It's pretty mad. You know, even when you're not in the super club, touring the world, private jet stuff. There's always stories, man. Even if you're a barman for 30 years, you're going to have some stories. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's going to happen, right? We're not that special in the nighttime industry. We aren't that special as DJs. We have some good stories, but yeah, everyone in that industry has some good tales to tell. I know, because I've heard a lot of them.
Well, so you've had so much experience with residencies, and like even that one bar you're saying you played there for 2 years every Saturday night for 2 years straight, like had a lot of these like residencies. How did you handle when it comes to residencies? Like, how did you handle pay and stuff? Like, if you were at a place for like a couple of years, did you ever ask like, hey, listen, you wanted a little more? Did you ask for raises? As something like?
Oh, hell yeah.
How did you handle that?
I mean, the thing is, I've always known my value as a DJ, because, in the early days, maybe the first like 10 or so, 15 years of my career, I got paid pretty badly, but I learnt my lessons during that time. And when I got to the point where I was a very experienced, a very professional DJ who could rotate a bar, like keep the bar moving, rotate a dance floor. That's the phrase I'm looking for. I could do that. I could structure a night so that people drink the right amount, and I can make money I knew by the time I was like 20 years in, I could make money for a venue in the way that I DJ'd, because that is a skill that you learn as a club and a bar DJ. Those things, that's a very different thing from like a wedding where you're not trying to make money for the bar at the wedding. That's not your job. But when you work for the bar, it's your job to make money for the bar. And I would always ask, how have we done tonight on the bar take? All this, you need to get up on that knowledge, and you need to be part of the team. I mean, that's a crucial thing as well.
And it shows that you care too, right? Like, hey, did you guys have a good night? Did you guys make money? Like, that's a good thing. That's a good point.
And then you learn, okay, so it felt really good to me tonight, but the bar didn't make any money. So why is that? And you try and analyze these things. Or, I had a terrible night, but the bar made loads of money. How does this balance? What am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? How can I learn from this? And you learn how to increase the take for a venue. That is something you do as a resident. And also, you get to know the staff. You have to be part of that team. Even if you're only there twice a week and they're in there like 5 days a week or whatever, you have to be part of that team and understand what the bar staff and the back bar guys are hearing and what they're getting from the vibe in the room and everything else. You have to be a part of the team in that venue. You are not the most important part, but you are still an important part of that venue's, how it functions on a week-to-week basis. And I guarantee you look at the guys who are big out in like Vegas and stuff, they understand that side of things very well.
True. Like the road podcast guys are always talking about it.
Exactly. It's business. It's a business at the end of the day. If you don't make money for the place, you're not going to be working there very long. So it's important to keep learning as you do that and understand how the venue you work in, how it works, what makes money there, and what will increase the money they take. And then when you've increased that money for them or been part of that, you can ask for a raise, right? Do you know what I mean? That's how it goes. So it's one of those things where you need to know your value, but also demonstrate your value and be valuable to that venue, and then you will get you'll get paid, because they will understand that what you're doing is being involved and being a part of that.
Could you share how you specifically went about it, though? Like, because especially being, self-admittedly, like, a little shy and not great with business, right? Like, I'm kind of the same way, too. And I have a hard time with money conversations personally. And I'm sure a lot of people struggle with that. Like, how did you approach?
But by that point, I am part of the team.
So you're super comfy, but you know them really well. Yeah.
They're like family by then. If I wasn't in that situation, I would not have the confidence to do that. But by that point, you're part of the team. The staff, you like them hopefully, and they like you back. That's the whole idea. And like, you feel part of the team. That's when you can have that comfort to be able to ask that. You can't just be Mr. Billy Big Bollocks walking around like, yeah, smashed it tonight. Can I have an extra $200? Like, it's not going to work. It's not going to fly. And that's not how the resident game works at all. You have to be a part of that team. It is crucial. And then you can feel comfortable to ask those questions. And and if they can't provide that, then you've proved your value there, and you can go somewhere else and do it instead for better money, or you might choose a different gig that satisfies you more musically or something like. But ultimately, it's about being part of the team, and then because I would be hella shy to ask that kind of stuff normally, but by the time I'm asking, I've been there a year. I know the guys. I know what we're talking about. It's all good. I can have that conversation.
Did you ask before the weekend, after the weekend was done, before a gig, after a gig?
Don't go hassling the manager on the night of the gig. Like, you call them up in the week. Can I have a meeting? Can we sit down?
So outside, so not even a working day. Just like, let's sit down, catch up.
100%. Yeah, definitely. You need to be at that stage with it. I mean, that's my experience just from the residencies that I've done over the years,
Yeah.
You've just got to be comfortable with these people and then but don't be doing that stuff straight after you've smashed it on a Saturday night. That's not the time.
Yeah, so you call a special meeting, you sit down with them, and then you just say, listen, I've been having such a great time here, and I really feel like I know the room well, and I think we've definitely grown and everything. I want to know if there's any way I can is that kind of how you went about it? Did you ask them for a specific amount, or you let them tell you what amount?
Man, it's like 10 years since I've done this. I don't remember.
I'm just curious. Sorry. It's an intimidating thing, a lot of there's a reason why so many DJs are underpaid. It's because they're just happy to get the gig. They love DJing, everything else, and then there's DJs that'll sit there for years and years, never ask because it's just an awkward conversation. Even if they have a great relationship with the person, you bring up money. I mean, you can have a great relationship with your mother, and you bring up money, and you owe your mom money. You got to things like that. Like, it could get weird, with anybody.
Yeah, but ultimately, you have to think of it as they're in business. They're not running this venue, whether they're the owner or the GM or whoever they are. They're not doing it for fun. They're doing it to make money, and they pay their other suppliers the going rate. And that's the language that they speak is money, right? So don't be, as a DJ, don't be afraid to broach these things and bring them up with people, because they understand that's what they do. They other people get raises. If it's a good company, the assistant manager will get a raise. Why wouldn't the DJ get a raise if they're doing a good job and demonstrably bringing in more money for the venue? Then why wouldn't you ask for money? And it's a difficult thing to do, and that's something where, as a mobile DJ, you've got a different kind of consideration there. You have to be brave in a kind of different way, because you have to put your prices out there and hope that you're not being too crazy expensive. And I've seen your videos about people underpricing their gigs and so on. And I'm sure in my mobile days, underpriced in a lot of ways. And I would approach it differently now. But that's an equally more difficult challenge, I would say, is pricing yourself as a mobile DJ. It's very hard to do. I don't do weddings or anything anymore. I'm doing a wedding for a friend this summer that's actually coming up. But
are you?
I am. But he's supplying all the kit. He's like a DJ himself, so he's supplying, the full-on Pioneer CDJ 3000 rig and a dope sound system and all. He's getting all that involved. I don't have to deal with that. But I'm still getting a chunk of change. Like, he's a good friend, and I'm doing it. I would, if I was a pro, I'd be charging a lot more, but I'm still getting a chunk of change, because a wedding is the most pressure gig in the world. Every wedding's a Super Bowl, right? That's your phrase, right? Every wedding's a Super Bowl. And that's the truth, man. I fully agree with you, man. Like, the wedding is the most stressful, because the club will still be open next week. If you mess up on a Friday, that club's still going to be open the next Friday. There's not going to be another wedding next Friday.
Nope.
It's now or never. You better not fuck it up. Do you know what I mean? Like, so for me, that's that's some serious pressure, and everything about the mobile game is serious pressure. But yeah, pricing as well. Try not to be so expensive that you price yourself out of the market, but also try not to be too cheap, so you can afford to have good equipment and good gear and actually make money. But I think it's interesting how the mobile game has changed. I think, and it's been led by you guys in the States, and it's very much professionalizing the mobile DJ industry in a way that it wasn't in the 90s when I was a mobile DJ. I mean, there was your real high-end shows, but in general, like, mobile DJing was just like Davey Double Decks and his lights with the 4 lamps where they just, like, you used to get them from Radio Shack. That's what I had when I started out, was this metal case and like 4 lamps in it, red, green, blue and yellow, and they just flashed like traffic lights kind of thing. I had those like that.
Yeah,
that was
you had to let them cool off at the end of the night.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I look at some of the stuff that guys like you and Cleveland are doing, and Bar and all these guys. That's some heavy production right there. That's some serious levels. That's club levels of production you're pulling off, right? And like it's a different game to how it was when I started as a mobile DJ. Totally different game. And I think that's been led by mostly you guys in the States and the way that you've changed the industry around what you want to do and getting paid what you deserve to get paid for that, because every wedding is a Super Bowl. So that's right. I think it's how it should be. 100%. I've got mobile DJs. I've got the most respect for mobile DJs out of any DJ, because it's the hardest gig going, the hardest. And I can say that because I've done it. Even at a low level, I've done it. But like, I understand the challenges, and I understand how hard it is to do, and the professionalism that you guys in the mobile world bring to what you do today just blows my mind, melts my brain.
Thanks, 100%. Man. Yeah, you know, I think with the invention of like technology, we were able as mobile DJs to like basically create a different niche. Where I think years ago, you know, it was a pretty level playing field if you're a mobile DJ, unless you had some type of clout. And then like, it doesn't mean you're going to have the craziest production or the coolest setup. You made a lot of money. DJ AM would make 15, 20 grand a wedding because he was DJ AM. You know, there was just like the clout guys, and then like everything else was a pretty low level playing field. There was like little tiers, but not that crazy. When technology came out,
mouth. It was word of mouth.
And it was all word of mouth. Yellow pages, literally, and paper reviews. We would have books of reviews. We would like we'd sit them down in the office, like, here's all my reviews. You want to see? These are handwritten letters that we got in the mail. You know, but then technology just made it where we can create a whole new niche where it's like, well, you know, we don't have clout, but like we have the craziest setups, the coolest production, and then, you know, obviously, and then talent, you know, and you're able to do more too with technology in general. So it's definitely interesting how it all evolved. One last question about the residency thing, though, and then I never had someone with so much residency experience. How do you feel about having your name on a flyer? I don't know how it is across the pond, but what I've noticed in my area is it's a two-way, it's a fork in a road, right? Some people that hold residencies every Friday night, every Thursday night, whatever they do, they're ghosts. They're not advertised. It just says live DJ, but it's the same guy every night. My first residency I ever had was in Harrisburg downtown. I was never on a flyer. I would literally take if it was a big night, like if they were doing something for St. Patty's Day, I would be DJing because I was a resident DJ, but I would literally take the flyer they designed and I would add my name to it and then advertise, just so like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to be here, and I would act like they made the flyer, but really the actual flyer they made, they didn't even mention me at all, just live music or whatever. And then other residencies do feature DJs on the like, is that a fight worth having? Like, you know what I mean? When you're a resident DJ somewhere and you're at a place where they don't want to put you on the flyer, like like, did you care about that? Did you?
I cared about it in that I still have flyers from 20 years ago that I had my name on, because that was a rare thing. And I was so proud to be on a poster with my name. It was rare. It was a rare thing. I was at that level where, on the whole, I mean, that's the thing. When flyers were still a thing before the internet, because by the time I got to the point where I was known enough in my city that people would recognize my name, that was already Facebook times. Flyers were gone by then. Do you know what I mean? So like, my name would be in the Facebook event description, but to actually have a flyer with my name on it, that was a rare thing back in the day, because it just wasn't, I wasn't at that level where I would have my name on the flyer.
But even today, you'll have a poster from a club saying like advertise, something you post on Instagram that you're advertising, or Instagram story.
Be a post. I get tagged in the post, That's how it is now. So like, clubs, unless they're like booking international big name DJs, they don't put posters out or flyers anymore. I remember the days when you did a club night and you used to get, you automatically went down the print shop and got 1,000 flyers cut and printed. That was the thing that you did. But that was 20 years ago. Those days they've long gone. I haven't seen a club flyer in a long time. And Newcastle, we have 2 universities in my city. So it's a big student population. There's lots going on. There ain't no flyers. There might be some posters for some like touring DJs that are in town or something, but you don't see flyers anymore. They're long gone, man. It's all social
certainly
media.
There's like Instagram stories, like, just posts in general online, not physical flyers, but like flyers online digitally that would have the name. Like, is that something DJ should worry about? Like if they're at a residency and like, you know what I mean? Or it just, who gives a shit if you're on the flyer?
Unless you're trying to get to a certain level. That's the thing. If you want to get to a certain level, then that might be something you're bothered about. And but the way to do that is to be part of a real scene. So it would be to be a progressive house DJ and nothing else. That's all you do. And crucially,
create a brand around
you have
that,
to make records. That's the main way to be a successful DJ is to make records. It's got nothing to do with DJing. You could have never touched a pair of decks in your life, make a successful dance record, and you're getting DJ bookings all over the world. Even you've never DJed in your life, but you could be touring instantly if you have a popular record on Beatport. So like that's not. It's a different game altogether, and that's been my one downfall. I've got two downfalls as a DJ. The first one is that I love too much music. I love all kinds of music. I have a very short attention span. I don't want to go somewhere and hear the same tempo, the same style all night long. You know, I'm that kind of person who would go between the different rooms in a club and hear all the different stuff all night, and that's my thing. And then like the other thing is that I don't want to make music. I've never wanted to make music, couldn't care less. I don't want to produce. I know Ableton very well. Can I write a bass line though? No. Don't want to learn because I'm not interested. I want to be a DJ. I want to share other people's great music with people. That's my goal in life. I don't want to make a record. I don't. That has been to my detriment because I love house music. If you made me listen to one style of music until I die, it's going to be house music, right? That's my thing that I love. The only way to make it as a house DJ is to make a record. I don't want to make a record. I just want to play them for people. And that's my two downfalls as a DJ, and that's why I never made it as a DJ, because I can't focus on one style because I like it all too much. You know, I love it.
You made it in other ways, though.
Music. You know, but I've made it in a different field now. But I was never going to be a tour. I was never going to be a private jet, you know, country hopping DJ. It was never going to happen for me because I don't want to produce and I like too much stuff. I get bored of one sound. You know, I just do. So
you could get casted on the Jersey Shore. You know, I've heard DJs from the Jersey Shore can do. You know, it's about clout. It's you know what I mean. Like that's really where you tour around and you get all that crazy stuff. It's just clout. You know, whether it's from TV or a record or. You know,
there's all these different aspects of the industry, and I've got nothing against any of them. Like I've got nothing against Paulie D going.
I think Paulie's a pretty good DJ. Honestly, people hate on him because whatever. I actually think he's a pretty good DJ, and he works his crowds. And he DJs for real. He crushes shit. Like I know a lot of people that know him. He's a super cool guy. From whatever I hear nothing but good things about him. So I don't know. I mean, people just hate on him because
everyone needs a route into that life, and if that's your route in is by being on a TV show, more power to you. You know, the only people always talk about real DJing, #real DJing. Like the only thing that's real about DJing is, do you have a passion for DJing and a passion for music? That's all that matters. I don't care beyond that. You could play music that I hate. You could come from a TV show. I don't care. As long as you DJ with passion and you have a passion for music, that's all that matters. That is a real DJ, man. Turntables, controllers, I couldn't care less. As long as you have a passion for music and you love playing music to people and you're not just doing it just for clout or just to be cool, then you're a real DJ as far as I'm concerned. Everyone who's doing it for the love and doing it for the passion, that's a real DJ to me.
I agree with that. Well, speaking about turntables and controllers, what do you have any predictions on any new products on the horizon?
Yeah, good luck with that.
Do you think do you think Pioneer has something coming to answer for the Rain 12 and the horizon? Do you think Rain is obviously cooking something up as an answer, like some type of Rain 1 MK2? You think that's in the horizon?
Good luck with that.
It's just speculation. I'm just want it. So do you know? You really know everything before everybody. So you really know stuff. So like you can't even like speculate. You're on that level of NDA. Like do you like? Are you in?
Yes and no. Yes and no.
Yeah?
Sometimes I know about stuff quite far ahead.
Okay.
Sometimes I find out about it like a month before. And sometimes stuff just kind of surprises me. I'll always get stuff like a couple of weeks at least before it gets released, but sometimes it surprises me. These companies don't generally clue me in on their long-term roadmaps for stuff. Like I'll know about a product if it's coming out in the next couple of months. And I can say this, right? There's basically nothing coming out for the first half of this year. Like pretty much. There's nothing. So therefore I don't know. Because there's just nothing coming out in the next. It's going to be a quiet few months because the pandemic and because of the shipping crisis, You know, the issues with the chip shortages
logistics
as well.
is tough, yeah.
Stuff is just messed up right now. Like, these companies release things and you can't buy them. And people getting cross at Pioneer DJ because they can't buy a Rev 7. Do you think Pioneer
I still
DJ
can't. I
don't
ordered
want to
it.
sell you a Rev? But they want to sell you one. They want to take your money. They're not.
I know. I'm
going,
still waiting.
We're just going to hold on to these in a warehouse. No, they want to take your money. That's their job, is to take your money. They want to take your money. Like, don't get cross at these companies. They're trying their best to get product to you. And like, so that's why I think the release schedules in general they're kind of thin at the minute, because you see Pioneer DJ drop the RX3 at the end of last year. They're only just coming into stock now in a lot of places. They might have had one unit in 2021 and now they've got like a whole bunch coming now. Like, stuff just takes time, and the NAMM show was moved to a different time. Obviously that's now in June or whether, you know, that's changed. And like, so yeah, there's not much going to be going on. There's a few interesting things, like there's a new, I mean, totally out of your wheelhouse, but there's like a couple of rotary mixers that are coming in the next few weeks, and things like that, which is stuff that I love. I'm into that, so like that's cool. But like, in terms of the big guys, don't expect anything. Certainly in the first half of this year, like it's going to be because they're rolling off. You know, Pioneer DJ are rolling off that Rev 7 and Rev 1. Until they get them into people's hands. You know, that's the thing. They want to get them in people's hands, and they will over the next few months, but it could take a minute, man. Like, it's actually, like, different regions are worse hit. Like, over here, I think it's easier to get a Rev 7, or it was, than it was to get a Rev 1. But over there, it was easier to get a Rev 1 than it was to get a Rev 7 over in the States. So each territory's got different deliveries coming, different containers coming, you know, across the ocean. So, like, stuff is just a bit messed up right now. And companies aren't going to drop a product too readily if they can't guarantee they're going to be able to sell it, because there's a lot of, you know, cost involved.
Yeah, you can't spend all the money.
Releasing
marketing
the product,
money,
announcing the product and everything, and then you haven't got product to sell. So I think companies are a bit wary right now, not because they aren't doing well. I mean, they are doing well. All of the, you know, your musical equipment in 2020 or 2021 rather, all of that was doing really well. The whole industry had a good time. But then the shipping crisis came in, and then the chip shortage as well is hitting everything. So like, it's amazing how much more money everybody could be making if these problems didn't exist right now. But they do exist. They're all trying to navigate it the best they can, and they're trying to sell you stuff. But like, you've got to allow them a bit of leeway right now. I'm afraid it's sad. You know, but that's
so. The next bomb, you know, the next big bomb, like big product, probably would be what then? If anything, maybe the DJ Expo Atlantic City. That would be like the place to kind of announce the next thing. Then
I think we might see some
over
bits
6 months.
I think I'm not sure. How
in June.
NAMM is
That's happening in June.
It is happening apparently at the moment. I don't know how. You know, hopefully by then things will be a bit better. I mean, I was hoping I'd get out there myself, but I don't know. I mean, there's Music Messe in Germany, which is like April time. There's all kinds of things going on, but trade shows don't really matter quite so much these days as they did anyway, because it's all online so much. But still, there is an impact if you have a trade show like NAMM and you have a big product that you launch there, then it does have it hits differently, you know. So I think it's one of those things where I think they might try and do some stuff around now, but honestly, I don't know of any. I mean, like, we're all thinking, there must be some kind of rain response to the Rev 7, right? That must come, but I can tell you, I'm pretty confident it's not coming in the first half of this year, whatever that might be. So don't get too excited about this stuff, because the timescales were already very long, and they're longer now than they usually are for all of this stuff. So it might be next year before we see anything. I don't know, but it could be a long time. Because, things are just kind of messed up, man.
Do you think that there's something like that's missing in the industry? I mean, you're really knowledgeable about, like, you know, products and all that stuff. Like, do you think there's a glaring
effects units? My God.
What do you mean?
I keep harassing every manufacturer about this, right? There used to be the Pioneer EFX 500, then the EFX 1000, then there's the RMX 1000 with the 3 knobs, and the RMX 500, right? All of which are at least a decade old, if
RMX
not older.
500. What is that? The weird thing that used to go? Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, I forgot about that.
Used to be back in the day. It used to be the Korg Chaos Pad. You used to get a Chaos pad as a separate device. You have a Chaos pad attached to your mixer. The Oasis Air Effects, where it had like a thing you could like do like a Nintendo Wii, like lift your arm up and it would like sense where your hand is and stuff. Like there used to be effects units back in the day, and nobody makes an effects unit. There's like one little German company makes a DJ one now. Tile, I think it is. They make a cool one, but like there aren't. There's all this DSP, all this digital processing, all these amazing effects technologies now that we have built into some, but not all mixers, right? And like someone, for goodness sake, needs to make a decent external effects unit that you can take and plug into. Let's say you're at the club, you're playing on a Zone 96 mixer or something. You want to have some echo, some delay, some reverbs. Why is no one making an effects unit for a DJ mixer anymore? I don't understand it. Like I don't get it at all. And like so that is, for me, that's the one thing that's really missing, because I like to use these weird rotary mixers and stuff like that. That's my jam. I just like using different gear, you know, all the time. And not everything has effects, but I love effects. I overuse echo in my DJing to a fault. Like I totally overuse it, but it's since I saw Jazzy Jeff for the first time around 2005. He was on the DJM 909, the old Pioneer scratch mixer, and he had the ducking echo, and I couldn't figure out how he was making it echo without turning on the echo switch, and I was like, oh, ducking echo, right, I get it. But like since I saw it, it changed my DJing overnight. I saw him the first time I saw him, changed my DJing overnight, because I saw how an echo transition, however you blend, it can smooth that transition. So if you're doing a drop mix out of nowhere, but the last track has got a little echo tail on it, makes it that little bit smoother, a little bit nicer, a little bit more rhythmical. And I love that kind of, when I'm DJing, I'm all about trying to be smooth, as smooth as I can. And you can't always be smooth, you know, you can't always do that. You need to change tempos, you need to change whatever. And so for me, an echo just adds a perfect little bit of accent to any mix that you do, and I overuse echo all the time. But like, yeah, so for me, an external effects unit I could use with any mixer with a send and return. That I don't know why it isn't being made, because all these companies have this tech already.
They never even did an MK2
put it in a box.
Yeah, they never even did the MK2 of the remember that what was that thing called? It had the Serato pads on it, just the same like as the original SX. The Pioneer made it. It had the 8 pads, and it wasn't like analog effects, but it triggered Serato effects. The SP100 or something. The SP1 they did, and then they did the SP2, which has 16 pads on it. Oh, with all the pads. That's right. So that was their upgrade. But if they can make that with analog effects.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, right? Because I love, let's get this straight. I have a long history of Serato. Before I started making videos, I love Serato. They are family to me, but their software effects are terrible, and they need to sort them out. So, like, unless it's got hardware effects on it, I'm not interested. Like, controlling software effects is not the look. We need some, and I hope Serato sort their effects out. That would be amazing, because I love Serato. It's my DVS platform of choice, 100%. No one does DVS as good as Serato. There's other software for other things, you know, like Record Box for music management, library management is the gold standard, 100% better than anything else. But Serato for me and DVS is always the one, and I'd love to see better effects in there. But yeah, I just want a nice little compact box that does echo, reverb, some funky little effects. It doesn't have to be crazy expensive. It doesn't have to be crazy. You can run it off batteries, man. Like these days, you could run it off a couple of rechargeables, like no problem. It's not a big, powerful thing. Sell it for $300. I swear, you'll make a killing. Somebody make this thing for me, and also make a Serato box, please. Somebody make a Serato.
I saw your video, and that's such an interesting thing. It really is. It's gone. You got that Denon DN100. That's like it. If they even still sell those, I don't even think they sell those anymore.
The DS1
or whatever. It was like this big.
Yeah. That's what really tipped me into making the video, because to be fair, to set the scene right, for those who don't know, who don't follow the Beat Source Tech series, which you absolutely should, it's really good, I promise. I upgraded one of my Macs to Catalina. I'm always like a couple of OSs behind, if I can help it. So I upgraded, and then I discovered my SL3 didn't work. And I was like, damn, like this is not cool. Like this is really uncool. But at the same time, my anger was kind of tempered a bit by the fact that I've had that box since like 2008. Do you know what I mean? Like that's an old ass box, right? It's really old, and it's so fine. Okay, it's fine. I get it, right? these things are really old. They can't be supported forever. That's no problem. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll get the Denon box then. So I hit up my guy at Denon. I was like, yo, you got any DS1s? Can I get a DS1? He's like, no, we stopped making that. I'm like, excuse me, what?
Like, what do you mean?
What? Hang on, what? So as of today, there are no Serato audio interfaces available. So if you want to use a Zone mixer that doesn't have a Serato sound card in it, you want to use any other mixer, and you want to use an old Vestax, you want to use an old Stanton, whatever you've got, any mixer that doesn't have an interface in it for Serato, there is no option for you unless you have a very old computer.
Yep.
And you want to run old Serato on it. Like that is, my mind was blown that is a situation we've got to. So, you know, again, all love for Serato. I know they haven't done this deliberately. I'm sure that they are trying to get the hardware partners to make a box of some sort, and I just hope they manage to pull it off, because this can't stand this situation. Like, we all know as working DJs, I mean, you know, when you're in a mobile DJ, you've got control of your own destiny in a lot of ways, but when you're a club or a bar DJ, you might turn up to that gig and there's a DJM 800 looking like it's got Ebola. You know, like all the rust around the fader. That's a thing, right? That's a thing that exists. And we can't always take our own mixer and swap in things. And sometimes you need a box. And so someone needs to just make a box. Take my money. Here's my money. Take my money. Make a box. It's not hard. It's just an audio interface. You can OEM one from China and just get Serato to make it work with the sort. It's not hard to do. I could probably do it. You give me like 100K, I could probably do it myself. And make money on it, you know, I mean, Kickstarter it, for goodness sake. I don't know, whatever. But like, someone needs to do that, because I don't think an ecosystem without a box like that is a healthy ecosystem for any software. So I hope that Serato managed to pull that off. That's the most commented on video I've ever done in my 300 and something videos.
Oh, no kidding.
People fully were just like, lots of people didn't even realize, because not everyone updates all the time. You know, I don't update my operating systems, but I do update my Serato. Obviously, I need the latest Serato to use with the latest products, you know, so I have to update. And that's what, so I realize a lot of people would not maybe have noticed until, you know, a year down the line, when they have to update, or they get a new Mac and then suddenly their hardware doesn't work anymore. And
they're screwed in some situations.
That's a problem for people, man. Like, it's a big problem. So I'm just hoping some company comes out of the gate and just sorts it out. Please, somebody, because it's a crucial thing. That kind of thing. Yeah, as a working DJ, as someone who still has the heart of a working DJ, that's the kind of thing that pains me, you know, 100%.
I agree. When do you think they're going to start adding more lighting things into it? Like, can you imagine if like this, like something like this, the sound, the sound switch, whatever this thing, Control 1, imagine if this was built into like an S11, like an S11 had a built-in universe, you know, 512 like lighting universe where it's all built in and all integrated, you know, like when's that coming? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like this is like an unneeded piece of hardware. It should just be built into everything, since it runs into the background of Serato anyway. No?
Well, I mean, Denon DJ did that already, right? In the Prime Series stuff now.
See, I don't even know. So how does that work? It
has engine lighting built in. So it's in the screen. You just go to a different page on the screen. So if you're running your Prime 4, for example, you just go to your lighting page and there's your controls.
No shit.
Yeah. And that's when you're playing off a USB stick. It exports all your sound switch data to the USB stick as well. And then you can literally connect your interface to the back. You've got all the controls on the screen. And you can run your lights without any computer required. You just run it all from the whole lot, music and lights, from the Prime 4, just from a USB stick.
So maybe they are, because there's a lot of Denon guys out there, Denon guys out there. I don't even know how to say it right correctly. Is it Denon?
Denon.
Yeah, Denon, right? Okay. There's a lot of like big fans of them out there, you know, and I'll see them in the comments, like, because I'm always talking about like Pioneer Rain. Like I'm kind of, you know, I don't know a lot about, you know, Denon, and they always slide in the comments, oh, Denon has had that shit. Denon has been doing that. Denon came out with this mad long ago. And I was like, yeah. You're the only one I know that uses Denon. And then it's always like a blow off. But like, I didn't realize they got some shit, huh?
You'd be surprised, man. They've got some tech, man. They've been pushing the limits of what can be done with this stuff for a few years now. And they have got traction out there. Like, of all the mobile DJs that I know personally, you know, in real life, not from the internet, I'd say at least half of them are Denon people now.
Wow.
At least half. Because that Prime 4 is a beast. It's a big, heavy boy. He's a big lad, that Prime 4. He's a weighty fella.
But you don't need a computer with it, right? You can just...
You don't need a computer. or you can use it with Serato if you want, or Virtual DJ. It's really good with Virtual DJ as well. Like, it is a beast. It is a powerhouse. It's got the zone output. It has a separate zone. You can feed out to another room with a playlist auto-playing from your USB stick, from the same one that you're DJing with in the main room. You can feed out to, like, the bar area or whatever with a whole different play.
Really?
Okay, right. I'll connect you with Denon, man. You need to play with the Prime 4. I'll connect you with Denon DJ. Well, you need to play with that, because I know you're a Pioneer fanboy, but like you will dig it. You will dig it.
I used to be a big Rain guy back in the day. You know, you go through your phases. Yeah. But no, I'm interested to look. I didn't realize they had the kind of stuff they do. That's how close-minded you know what I mean? I don't even pay attention.
Is like designed for mobile DJs. That's what it's for, man. Like it's designed for mobile DJs, 100%. Really? It's not a club piece. Do you know what I mean? It's designed for mobile, and it's too big for like me to take to a bar with me. But if you're a mobile DJ, it is a powerhouse. And it's kind of weird that we don't see the comments on your stream, to be honest, on this show. I guarantee the comments are kicking off right now. Everyone going, yeah, the Prime 4, the Prime 4, the Prime 4. I guarantee it. Because it is a weapon. That is a mobile DJ weapon, 100%.
It's a weapon.
It is a weapon.
Is there hardware effects in that?
Yep.
Really?
4 decks, hardware effects. It can stream directly. So you can stream from BeatSource or Beatport or the other one.
Oh, so it connects to the internet too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it connects to the internet with Wi-Fi. It's got Wi-Fi in there, so you can do it with Wi-Fi, or you can connect it to a LAN, whatever you want to do. You can play from SD card, USB stick. It's got a built-in hard drive bay in the base. So you put an SSD in the bottom of it, a terabyte SSD with all your music on there.
And it'll read it. How does the music have to be structured, though? Like, how does that work? Like, you know what I mean?
Through
like
their Engine Prime software. You just export it all from Engine Prime. And that'll read your Serato beat grids and cue points. That'll pull in those from Serato into the engine stuff, and then it goes to your
So it reads all the metadata, yeah.
Reads all the metadata, all the cue points, everything. Dude, I'll connect you with Denon DJ. You need to play with the Prime 4. You need to play with the Prime 4. Like,
I've been sleeping
I'm all
on
about the players. I'm all about the separate players, the 6000s and the 6000Ms. That's my jam, right? But that Prime 4, it's a mobile DJ powerhouse. That's what it's designed to be. It is absolutely just, they're pushing what can be done. And that's great, because that's made Pioneer DJ step up their game. You know, I think if I'm being completely honest, Pioneer DJ were maybe a little bit like, they were kind of casual for a while. They were kind of chilling, for a few years there, like around the next
sitting on their throne.
Like, yeah, we're all good. No one's coming for us. And then boom, Denon came for them. And ultimately Pioneer DJ is still the club standard. It's still the club standard gear. There's no arguing that. Like, you go in any club here in the UK, they've got CDJs. That's just a fact. Every club in the UK has CDJs. They might be really old ones, but they've got CD. That's the standard here in the UK.
And like a 900
and maybe a 900 or the mixers. You might see a bit more variety, but the default system is always straight up Pioneer across the board, right? But like in terms of the mobile market and everything else, Denon have made huge inroads in the past few years, and rightly so, because they're bringing stuff to the table that Pioneer DJ, where Pioneer DJ have focused on the club so much, perhaps they've overlooked some of these mobile DJ kind of functions that mobile DJs want to have, like just having an SSD bay in the bottom of the device, man. Like, the players have that too, the single players, they also have an SSD drive bay in the bottom of them. So if they're your players, you take them to gigs yourself, you've always got all of your music just built into the player. You don't need a USB stick. It's just built into the player. That's kind of a magical thing when you think about it, when you break it. And then you can stream as well. So you can play stuff from BeatSource Link.
Why don't I know one person that uses it? Like, it has to be the cool factor. I think people just buy what's cool. Like the Rain 1 came out, that shit was cool. So everybody and their mom bought it. The S9 came out, that was cool. And you can use turntable, moving platters. I feel like wedding DJs get caught up with the hype, and then they use what is quote unquote cool, or what the cool guys are using, and they sleep on things like this. Because I don't know one person that uses the Prime 4. I didn't even know the Prime 4 did this shit. I personally buy into the same thing. I mean, I guess I use what I like, but I also never gave Denon a chance. So how do I know what I like best?
Maybe you're more of a slave to that coolness factor than a lot of other mobile DJs.
Well, yeah, I think I use what I like, but I'm closed-minded. I will say, I use what I like, but I am a little close, because I've never even looked into Denon, and anything else, fuck off. Anything besides Dead on Rain or Pioneer. Like,
I'm not judging you, but I feel like maybe that is the case, that you're more into that coolness fact, like the fact that you still use turntables. You don't need to use turntables. You just use them because it looks cool. Don't lie. Don't lie.
No.
Don't lie.
It is so much more fun. DJing on turntables is much more fun. Number one,
no,
it's much more fun. It really is. Yes, it is. And you have way better control with cuts and everything. Nothing beats the real feel of a real needle on a real turntable. Nothing beats that feel.
You have them because they look cool. Don't lie to me, Nick. Don't lie to me. You have them because they look cool. And
people go, oh, 20% of it.
Using turntables. That's so cool.
That might be 20% of it, but it really is functionality. I love turntables.
You lie, Nick.
No, they're not. You can't even see the comments. How do you know what they're saying?
I know what they're saying.
Speculation, pure.
You lie. I swear to you, Nick. You use them because they look cool. If you think about the practicality aspect of it, it's nonsense, right? There is a magic to playing on turntables. I will grant you that. I play 45s a lot of the time. I love turntables, right? But in terms of actual fun when you're DJing, it's got nothing to do with it, man. You could put a pair of CDJs there, you would have just as much fun. You put a Rev 7 in there, I guarantee you will have just as much fun as you do on turntables right now. I guarantee when your Rev 7 arrives, you will have just as much fun on that Rev 7.
Well, because it has a moving platter, so I can feel it.
Okay, but then that's not a turntable. You don't need turntables.
The moving platter thing is a thing.
Yeah. Even that's not really a thing. You have them because they look cool and people give you extra respect, you think, when you have turntables. Don't lie. It's true.
It's a part of it, but it's not the biggest part.
It's true.
I really do enjoy using them. Otherwise, I would have. You know how many? Much harder it is to. I mean, I guess it'd be. I don't know. It's true, but it's not the biggest part. Okay.
It's true. It is. Okay. It is 100%. Okay. I'm sorry if my light's dimming a bit. I'm running out of battery on my little light I've got here. I do need to go in 15 minutes, by the way.
Yeah.
We're on a hard out here because I've got family. The next thing to go and do with the family.
I was actually gonna. No, I hear you. I was actually going to ask you, any like what are your future plans and stuff? Like, what are you going to leave us with? Like, are you continuing plug your Twitch? When you're streaming, all that.
I mean, my Twitch. Do that? Right. My Twitch is Mojaxx DJ. I live for it. It makes me so happy. Right now, for 2022, I'm actually switching it up. We've got Wednesday is the progressive house thing. Every other stream I do now this year, from now on, is going to be like funky, soulful, disco, jacking house. Just like cool house music, fun house music, right? Because you need a bit of consistency on Twitch. People need to know what they're going to get when they come to see you. And so that is my sound. The progress thing, I'm almost at episode 100. I'm on like 96. So that's going to carry on at least 4 more weeks until I get to that 100. And then we'll see after that. But every other stream now is going to be just funky house, disco house, good time house music, right? For the rest of the time. So yeah, please do come watch me on Twitch. It's a nice time. We have a nice community there. I don't get the biggest numbers in the world, but I get enough that we have a nice little party. Everyone in the chat, all my mods are super nice. Everyone's nice in my chat. They're mostly DJs. It's mostly nerdy DJs. Come watch me DJ because that's my fan base, right? But like, I love Twitch. Please come see me there. But we haven't talked about Beat Source at all, and I feel like we should because
you're right.
Like, that's
my bad.
I did the rebrand, right? I rebranded DJ City Tips and Tricks to Beat Source Tech. Only about a month or something ago, right? It was the start of this year. I rebranded that, and I'm so excited about streaming music. Like, you don't. I was the latest guy to get to Spotify, right? I was the latest on that. I was fully so behind on Spotify. I was just like, I own my music. I've got all my records, and now I've got all my files. This is my collection. Oh, this defines me as a person. I am my music. I am my collection. And then over the past few years, I realized that's just meaningless. And what actually matters to me as a DJ is having access to all the music. I just want all the music all the time. And now I can have that with streaming. You don't have to use Beat Source link, whatever, use whatever you want, right? But streaming is the future for me. I use Beat Source and Beatport link all the time. On Twitch, it's mostly Beatport, but I do Beat Source a lot because we have quite a lot of funky house stuff on there as well. But I use Beatport link, and then in real life, I use Beat Source link. I just have access to all the music. And that, once you get your head around it, for me, it's like when, it must have been around 2000, that era, when suddenly you got Napster. Suddenly you got that. So you go from buying your CDs and buying your vinyl in the store, and you can only get what you can get. You know, whatever's in that store on that day, that's what you can get. And some records, you miss them. Like, you get them, you try and buy it, you miss it one week, it's gone the next week. You can't buy it again. That music's lost. You're never going to get that. And like now, you know, when Napster came along, it's like, I can get all that music that I've always wanted and I've never been able to get, or I can't find, or I can't afford, all of that music. And now we can do that legally, and the artists get paid. Like, you know, there's obviously a big conversation about revenues for artists in these times, you know, with the streaming era, but we do pay better at Beatsource and Beatport. We pay better than Spotify to the artists, so that's fine from that point of view. But like, we can do it legally, and I can have all the music. So if I decide that I want to play Afrobeats one night, I don't have to go and do some dodgy pirating. I can just go and get the Afrobeats playlist from Beatsource and add it to my Serato library and store it in the offline locker. I don't even need the internet at a gig. Like, once you get your head around the possibilities of what this stuff offers us as DJs, honestly, it blows your mind. And like, I understand the cynicism, because I was that guy. I was that guy with Spotify. I was like, I don't need that. I've got my collection. My collection's mine. I've built it over the years. And you think about how much music is disposable. Like, how many like R&B records or hip hop records from like 2017? How many of those are you still rocking now? How many do you still need in your library? Truly, what, like 30, 40 of them? Tops. You know, like,
yeah,
at the most. So why do we treat so much of this music that we use as a tool with such reverence? Like, I don't need that. I still get sent promos from labels. Like, I get about 50 promos a week, you know, but I don't.
In what form?
Like MP3 promos, you know, they send you on a, when you.
So you're getting like white labels. So I was like, what? Still?
Yeah. Well, crazy. No. I mean,
but like in MP3 form.
Yeah, it used to be vinyl back in the day, and now they send you MP3s, and you know, you access through the promo service and all that. So I get sent loads of music. I don't even hardly ever log into that anymore to get the promos that I've been sent, because I don't need to, because they're on Beatsource or Beatport. Like, I have access. For me, as I say, I'm a person who loves to DJ. That's my passion. That's what I want to do. I want to share great music with people. So to be able to access all of this great music, man, it's a joy. So yeah, you know, I'm not here to plug Beatsource. You watch me on Twitch and you'll see every time I'm playing. I couldn't do my Progress show. When I started my Progress show, I was spending like $40 a week on tracks, because it was all brand new releases every week. I was spending $40 every week just for that one show, for that 90-minute show.
On like Beatport, Bandcamp, that sort of thing?
On Beatport, yeah. Like, basically, I would go on Beatport and I'd spend $40 every time, sometimes more. And now I've got it as part of my Beatport link. I just get all those new releases, and some of them I love, and I want to keep them around, so I might keep them in the offline locker, or I might even go and buy that track. But like, some of it doesn't matter. I'm not going to play it again. Or if I do, the playlist is still there. I can just play it again. Like, it's a mind shift. It's a complete mind shift, and I'm all about it. I use it all the time. Like, last night I DJ'd. I did 90 minutes on Twitch. It was Beatsource link, all funky house. Like, it was flawless. It was just flawless. Like, the integration with Serato is good. It's not the best. Rekordbox is probably a bit better. I think Virtual DJ is probably a bit better as well. Virtual DJ did a great job with their integration. Tractor's coming up there. But like, in all of the software, it's reliable and it works well. And as I say, I'm not here to shill just for Beatsource. Like, if you want to try a different service, you try a different. We're proud of what we do as our service. We think that if you try them all, you'll end up with us. That's what we feel. But you should, if you haven't tried streaming yet in your DJ software, I implore you to give it a try. Try all the services, see which one is best for you. But like, it's a mind shift, and it is going to change the way that we DJ. It's changed the way that I DJ in the space of a year. It's completely changed the way that I DJ. 100%.
Yeah. I truly think it's the future. I think it's like as big of an invention as like almost DVS was, or like, you know what I mean? It's going to be a very big shift in how, you know, especially in the coming years, you know, the younger generations aren't used to owning music, so they're obviously going to adapt it. More and more of us are going to realize the benefits that you just explained and adapt it, you know, the old school guys. And
my kids don't know about CDs.
No.
Like, they've seen vinyl in my house, because I have vinyl in the house. I play vinyl sets still. I love the old stuff still. I love all of that. But like, yeah, they don't care about that. Music for them, it's always come from Spotify. Movies have always come from Netflix. They don't own any DVDs.
They're used to having 100% access. It's insane.
Man, you know, I remember buying DVDs for real money. Now they're worthless. You can't give them away. Do you know what I mean? Like, literally worthless. You try and take them to like a pawn shop, they give you like a penny each. Like, that's all you're going to get for a DVD now. And it's like, yeah, we've moved into this next phase of the way we consume everything. And as DJs, we're always a bit late to the party. We're always a bit scared of new tech. We're, you know, like, people started buying CDs to listen to at home probably about 5 years before DJs started to use, well, even 10 years before DJs started to use CDs. And so, yeah, we are definitely like, we're always behind the curve. But look, hey, I've just got to do this right now. Hold tight. Right, here we go. So just for a moment here, because I'm getting a text from my wife saying that I need to log into the Alexa app because my son is going to bed. So right now I'm just going in on my phone here, and I'm just getting his Audible book from Audible again. It's just in the cloud. It's not.
Is it 2022 parenting? Yeah, parenting.
Yeah, I'm sending it to his Echo so he can go to sleep with his audio book of his favorite book.
Whoa, that's kind of crazy.
Do you know what I mean? Like, this is a different landscape we live in now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like this is standard stuff. You know, in my day, because I used to like to fall asleep listening. When I was a kid, I used to fall asleep listening to stories and like books and stuff. And it was always cassettes. You know, I had my cassette tape and I would put that in and like listen to the same one over and over. He has a different book from Audible every night, or, you know, it goes through them one at a time. Dude, this is the world we live in today. You know, and I'm doing this I do this when I'm out. I did it on Friday night. I was DJing and I logged in from the gig to set up the Audible book for my son to listen to his audio book.
Does your son have any interest in DJing?
No, not at all.
No.
And nor does my daughter's now nearly 11. She doesn't care less. Couldn't care less. Yeah. Well, so maybe it'll be when they're older. I mean,
if
it's not the worst life
kind of thing.
It's not the worst life. Like, I wouldn't object if they were to get into it and wanted to do it. But I'm not going to push it on them.
Yeah.
If they want to discover it, they'll discover it in their own time. You know, I was obsessed with music from a very young age. You know, as a toddler, I was obsessed with music. You know, I was obsessed with ABBA and Boney M and all these kind of art. You know, I had my own record player when I was 2, like my own turntable thing, not Fisher Price, like a real one. You know, I loved it. So, but it's not been the same for them. But, you know, maybe they'll have another passion in life. Maybe they'll be into a sport, or, you know, for me it was just music from day one. So,
yeah, definitely good spot for it in the UK. British invasion. Yeah. So much good music came out of, like, you know, where you're from. It's insane. So
yeah, the 80s were an interesting time for music, but
a lot of good stuff. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna put all your links in the description and everything. A lot of them are already there. Make sure you guys follow Mojaxx and everything. I actually have your this is your Instagram. Very good name, by the way.
Please follow me on Instagram. I've been stuck on 24.8 or 24.9 thousand followers for like 6 months, and it's doing my head in. I just want to get to that 25,000. So please follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitch, Mojaxx DJ on Twitch, and then everything else is DJ City and Beat Source. So the Beat Source stuff now is on the DJ City TV YouTube channel.
Definitely check out his videos if you haven't.
Yeah, that's what we see. Yeah, I mean that's what I do. That's my thing. And there's more. There'll be another one every week. Forever.
Can't wait.
That's what we do.
Can't wait, man. I appreciate you being on, brother. Thank you so much.
Dude, thank you for having me, man. It's been good. Maybe we'll do it again in the future.
Anytime. You need a cameo in one of those vids, let me know. I'm happy to,
dude,
you know, film something on a green screen. You could just jump, throw
big
over.
Up as well. I have to say, big up for your Beat Source playlist as well, man. Those have been, they've been really, really useful for me as someone who has done some corporate stuff in the past year, where I'm maybe like, okay, what's popping in this kind of private party kind of setting. You know, I'm kind of used to doing my own thing a bit more now, so it's nice to see what's in those. So yeah, I fully recommend those to anybody trying out Beat Source. Go and check out Nick's wedding playlist, etc. They're absolutely killer, 100%, really good. And check out Mojaxx's Funky House Vibes playlist while you're there, because that's dope too.
Yes. Appreciate that, and I'll definitely check out your stream, man. I was vibing last time, so I'm gonna pour a drink, check out your stuff.
Good.
But yeah, thanks again, man. Definitely see you soon. Cool. Everybody, make sure you follow Mojaxx. Let me give you a round of applause or some shit. There we go. A little round of applause. My man Mojaxx. Thank you.